Hey, ScouterStan. I want to talk a little bit about homesickness and how adult leaders handle homesickness. I've been on many summer camps with a troop and have been the designated leader that handles homesickness. And I've had a lot of experience with it. And it is one of those critical things that we need to prepare for with scouts. Inevitably, it is usually the second or third night of summer camp when homesickness really kicks in. The first night, there's so much excitement going on and there's so many things happening. Typically, the scouts fall asleep rather quickly. But when they get back home, back to their campsite, that is when the downtime. That's when they start obsessing and self-imposed fears start to be realized in the scout's mind, and they can get rather upset. One of the big symptoms is being sad and crying. That is a very common thing. They could also take the opposite and be very irritable, very quiet. They can also be very oversensitive. The littlest thing can really set them off, being angry or upset or mad or sad. I mean, it's an emotional thing that they are dealing with. The cause is basically an immature reaction to separation anxiety. This can manifest in many ways. Self-imposed anxiety can overdrive the system. And because of their youth, they have to express it in some way. The only treatment is compassion, understanding from other scouts and from the adult leadership. That is critical to helping the scout come to terms with their own self-imposed problem. Additional to that, one of the good treatments for that is a buddy system. Make sure that they are tenting with somebody within the YPT guidelines and that they have more experience and they could help them through that process. Make sure the scout knows that they can always approach the adult leadership and they will help as much as they possibly can. The recovery from homesickness can take some time, but this gives them a maturity, a skill that they can handle the separation. They can handle all of the issues that they have self-imposed on themselves. This is a critical part of growing up. Parents need to think back to when they had homesickness. This was a skill that was inevitable. It's going to happen. Okay, but it's a skill that handled correctly can really help a scout become more independent, and that is a critical skill. Before the scout even leaves home, parents need to be talking to the scout in a very positive light. Talk about the adventure, talking about all of the excitement that they're going to have on this trip. Don't say things like, gee, we're going to miss you. Even if it's true, don't do that. That sets up a lot of problems. Just don't go there. Don't say that. Talk positively about their trip and they will have a positive return. Make sure that, speak in terms where they're not going to be gone for very long. That their pets will be taken care of, their chores will be taken care of. Not to worry about any of that stuff. It's all taken care of. And before they know it, they'll be back home. So that's a critical thing. As a parent, make sure that they understand that they're there to have exciting fun and an adventure, and that not to worry about home. It'll be fine. It'll be here, and you're going to be back really soon. So make sure that that's super clear. Sending a care package, it may or may not cause a problem. If the scout has been to camp many times, sending a care package is a great little thing that happens in the middle of the week. A lot of troops, when they go to camps that are very remote, and the mailing system is delayed because of their remoteness. Sometimes if you're going to send a package and it's going to arrive in the middle of the week, you're going to have to send it a week or a week and a half before they actually leave. just so that it will get there on time. Now, the other option is a lot of units will take the packages with them. They'll lock them up in a trunk, and then on the day that they do mail call, that's when they take them out and hand them to the scouts. That is a far better way than mailing packages to camps. Now, if they're going separate, if they're not going with a unit, you may have no option, but typically that's what I would recommend. Try to keep it to one. Don't go overboard. Don't have one every day. That can become issues with other scouts. Definitely keep it to one. Letters from home can be a lot like care packages. Keep them short. I do not recommend long letters. Long letters tend to help scouts obsess, and that becomes a problem. If you're going to send something, the older scouts, all they want is money because they have trading posts and popsicles and all that stuff. So at most, like a Hallmark funny card, okay? Something simple. Don't say missing you or anything, because that'll just add to the problem. Definitely keep it short and sweet if you're going to send a letter. One of the big issues that can come up with a scout that's going through homesickness is the request to call home. This is something that can be very controversial, and let me tell you my feelings about it. Inevitably, when the scout gets on the phone with their parents, they will surrender to their fear and they will beg to go home. This can be very problematic. The parents will panic. They will be very upset, and they will do what they can to get to rescue their scout from this terrible camping situation. That's one way they think of it. Another way is that they think, why did the adult leaders allow that to happen? Why would the adult leaders put a parent in a situation where they have to tell their scout no? That could be, it goes bad. I really do not recommend that. Our purpose in scouting is to help their self-esteem. This could actually end their scouting. So I really do not recommend calling home for homesickness. It adds more problems than it actually will solve. It is not good. So I do not recommend the call home to cure homesickness. That just makes it worse. Another one is family day. Family day can go really bad. If a scout is having a problem with homesickness and having a real issue, instead of working it out, all of a sudden the parents show up at the camp. Well, little Jimmy is not going back to his tent and finishing his merit badges. He's going home, all right? He sees his parents. He's going home. I mean, it is. So family day cannot. I would recommend that as an adult leader, tell your families that are planning to come out to see the camp, to actually be there, to call ahead and talk with the scout leader and see if that is going to be an issue. That will solve a lot of problems. It may help encourage the scout, but if they're in the throes of a really bad homesick situation, seeing them, they're not going to continue with camp. They're going to go home. So family day can be really bad. Cell phones. These marvelous pieces of computers that we like to put in our pockets keep in communication with the world. Some parents actually hide cell phones in the backpack or trunk of their scout going to camp. And this is purely for the adult parent separation anxiety. They're going through it too. That can be a real issue. Having a cell phone that is unknown, that's free range to cell phone in camp can be really, really bad. There can be some issues. So I do not recommend that little Jimmy have a cell phone. It's okay for him to have it on the way up, and it's okay for him on the way back, but not while they're at camp. And we have talked about in other videos the good and bad things as far as cell phones. One of the major things as adult leaders is to help scouts gain the skill of self-reliance. Homesickness is a natural thing that every scout goes through. I know that I went through it when I was a young person at camp. I went through the same thing. It actually helps make better, more adjusted individuals that can handle something like homesickness. It is inevitable, and parents go through it too. They have the same type of thing, but they're at home. And when their youth is not home, they go through that same separation. It is a way of becoming stronger. This is scouting is a wonderful thing, and we're in a safe environment. They are going to be taken care of, and it's important that they go through a lot of those issues that come up at camp. That being the case, I know you're a great leader, and a lot of this stuff is just review. I'm doing it now so that we're ready for the summer, because this summer's going to be great. Okay, so we're going to get back out there. And, we're still going to have homesickness. And by the way, this happens at day camp too. So Cub Scouts are not immune to this, okay? So it happens to all young people and to all young parents. These are critical things that we need to consider as adult leaders. And I know you do. Until next time, I'll see you on the trail.